वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। नमस्ते once again everyone.
नमो नमः महोदय।
नमस्ते गुरुजी।
नमस्ते नमो नमः. So
नमस्ते
we are
गुरुजी।
in, sorry,
नमस्ते गुरुजी।
namaste namaste. Mantra 2.1.4 we will chant. Agnirmurdha
अग्निर्मूर्धा
चक्षुषी
चक्षुषी
चन्द्रसूर्यौ
चन्द्रसूर्यौ
दिशः श्रोत्रे
श्रोत्रे
वाग्विवृत्ताश्च
वाग्विवृताश्च
वेदाः वायुः प्राणः हृदयं विश्वमस्य पद्भ्यां पृथिवी एष सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा। Good. So we have entered the mantra number 2.1.4, where the Upanishad continues with the description of the Srishti Prakriya, creation of the universe from Karanam Brahma, which was referred to as Purusha in mantra number 2.1.1. Then, after briefly introducing Akaranam Brahman, Adhishthanam Brahman, in mantra 2.1.2, in mantra 2.1.3, the Upanishad reverted to the topic of creation and described the creation of elements and elementals. This is the creation of Sukshma Prapancha, the subtle universe, which precedes the creation of Sthula Prapancha, the gross universe. Now, in this mantra, the Upanishad turns to the description of the gross universe. Virat Srishtihi or Vishwarupa Ishwara Srishti. And we saw that Bhashyakara introduced this mantra, and the first point he makes is that just like we saw that Hiranyagarbha, the Samashti Sukshma Prapancha was born out of Purusha, the Karanam Brahman. Similarly, Virat, the gross universe, is also born of Karanam Brahman alone, not directly but indirectly, with the intervention of Hiranyagarbha. So the sequence of creation of Karanam Brahman or sequence of creation by Karanam Brahman, which is followed, is Karanam Brahman, then Hiranyagarbha, followed by Virat. This is the first point he makes. The second point he makes is that the Upanishad in this mantra is giving a description of Virat. This is how Bhashyakara introduces this mantra 2.1.4. And the mantra introduces Virat in a poetic fashion. It visualizes Virat, the Virat as a person with head, organs, limbs, etc. So each aspect of Virat is compared to a corresponding part of a person. The first description is Agnihi Murdaha. Murdaha means the head, which is referred to as Agnihi. The name given to the head of Virat in this mantra, in this Upanishad, is Agnihi. And as I clarified in the last class, Agnihi does not mean fire in this context, but refers to the effulgent heavenly world, which is the head of the Virat. Swarga Loka, you can say, is what is referred to as Agnihi. And this interpretation is also supported by a Chandogya Vakyam, as we saw in the last class. Then Chakshushi is Chandra Surya. Chandra and Surya, the moon and the sun, are Chakshushi, the two eyes of Virat. Then Disha Srotre, the 10 directions, 4 primary directions, Purva, Paschima, Uttara, Dakshina, East, West, North and South. Then 4 secondary directions, Ishanah, Agneyah, Nairutyah, Vayavah. The northeast, northwest, southwest and southeast. And 2 up and down, Urdhva and Adha. The 10 directions are compared to the ears of Virat because directions represent space. Akasha. And guna of Akasha is what? Shabdah, sound. And therefore, Akasha, the space, the directions are compared to Srotram, the ears. So, Disha has Srotre. So, the Lord has got ears in all directions. And therefore, we have to be careful about what we speak. Because whether somebody else hears it or not, everything is heard by the Lord. Everything is heard by the Lord. Everything is seen by the Lord. Because what is Lord according to us? It is the cosmic powers. You are not away from the cosmic order even for a one small moment of your life. Every breath you take, you are part of the cosmic order. And therefore, when we realize that we are actually a part of a much bigger entity, not only we have to develop reverence towards that entity, but also understand that everything that we do, all actions that we do, including all the thoughts which occur in our mind, is all being passed on to that entity. Who is the karma phala data? Who is going to give you the results of your actions, your thoughts, your words? And that is what we call living with awareness. Always be aware. Even if nobody is watching, there is a camera, the traffic camera which is watching you. You don't know where it is there everywhere. And therefore, your driving should be according to the laws of the road. Lanes you have to observe, traffic signals you have to observe, overtaking rules you have to observe, all that you have to observe. Then Vakritascha Veda hai. Veda are Vak, the organs of speech of the Lord. And these Vedas are Vivrita hai. Vivrita has got two meanings. One meaning is extensive or voluminous. And there is another meaning, well known. So the Vedas are extensive and also well known. And these are the speech of the Lord. Because through Vedas, Ishvara is speaking to the world. And there is a shloka in which Bhagavan says, Shruti Smriti Mamaivagye Ya Ullangya Pravartate Agnya Bhangi Mamadveshi Narake Patiti Dhruvam. Same idea Bhagavan Krishna also expresses in Bhagavad Gita. So here in this sloka, Bhagavan is saying that Shruti and Smriti are my instructions alone. Therefore, the Vedas are to be respected because they are looked upon as coming from Vagindriya of Ishvara, the mouth, the tongue of Ishvara, a limb of Ishvara. Then Vayuhu, the cosmic air. Air which we see everywhere, that Vayuhu, which we experience everywhere, is Pranaha, the breath of Ishvara. If Ishvara has to breathe normally, the air has got to be unpolluted, isn't it? And that is our responsibility. Because we are the human race, or human beings are the only one who are capable of polluting the air. Otherwise, Ishvara could get a lung problem. And if he gets a lung problem, what he will do? He will pass it on to us. All this is just a joke. Don't take it seriously. Because Ishvara will never get any problem. He is beyond all problems. Right? So, Vayuhu Pranaha. Then the next one is Hridayam. The mantra says, Hridayam Vishwam Asya. Asya Hridayam Vishwam, the entire world, the universe is the heart, the Hridayam of Ishvara. And here the word Hridayam stands for the mind. So the entire world is the mind of Ishvara, means entire world is projected by the mind of Ishvara, which is otherwise called Maya Upadhi. Just as the individual mind projects the dream world, similarly, this waking world is also like a dream of Ishvara. Of course, literally, Hridayam means heart. But heart is a golaka of the mind, which is the Hridaya Indriya. Therefore, the heart stands for the mind as well. Then Padbhyam Prithvi. And this can be interpreted in two ways. The simple interpretation is that Prithvi, the earth, the Bhuloka, is the feet of Ishvara Virat. But then if we do that, we will get into a small problem grammatically. And therefore, instead of Padbhyam, we have to convert Padbhyam into the first case dual Padhav. Sanskrit students will understand, others you can ignore this. So Padhav Prithvi it will become. But if we say Padhav Prithvi, it will not fit into the meter of the mantra. So the other interpretation is keeping it as Padbhyam, which is the interpretation which Bhashyakara takes in the Bhashyam, which we will see when we come to the Bhashyam. Puja Swamiji humorously says that everybody's feet on the earth, and that earth itself is the feet of the Lord. So, we are all stepping on the feet of the Lord. It is again symbolic because earth is the lowest loka in 7 upper lokas, and therefore Prithvi is presented as the feet of Ishvara. And that's why I said in the beginning, all these are all imaginative poetic expression. Because the Upanishad wants to, make the students little bit, light-hearted, and easy to explain also. Then he is there in the Moolam. He means indeed, as we know. It signifies that all these descriptions of Virat indeed go to show that Yesha Sarva Bhutantaratma. Yesha refers to Virat. This Virat is Sarva Bhutantaratma, the inner self of all living beings and things. The indweller of all living beings and things. So the Samashti Atma alone is appearing as the individual Atma. The idea is that every individual is nothing but the expression of the same Virat. And this can be understood with the help of the dream example. Just as the waker is the inner self of all dream people and all dream objects also. Because if the waker comes away from the dream world collapses. Similarly, Virat is the Atma of the universe. And this Virat himself is born out of whom? Born of Ishvara. Therefore, in the ultimate analysis, Ishvara is what? Antaratma of the universe. So both ways we can understand. Virat has got two aspects. One is the Upadhi aspect, other is the Swarupa aspect. The total Upadhi alone, Maya Upadhi alone, is getting expressed in the form of individual Upadhi. And that Virat itself is Brahman, as Bhashyakara has said in the Sangati Bhashyam, Etasmad eva Purushat Jayate, Etanmayascha. So this Virat is born of Purusha Swarupa Chaitanyam, and therefore the Swarupa of Purusha is the Swarupa of Virat, and therefore Sarva Bhutantaratma can be understood both ways, both from the Upadhi point of view and also Swarupa point of view. So this is the word meaning of the mantra. Now we will enter the Bhashya. We will enter the Bhashya. It is not a very long Bhashya, only one paragraph. We will chant the Bhashya. Agnihi
Agnihi, Agnihi,
Dhyulokaha
Dyulokah,
Asau Vava
Asau Vava,
Loko Gautamagnihi
Loko Gautamagnihi,
Chandogya Upanishad Mantra 541. Iti Shrutehe
Iti Shrutehe,
Murdha Yasya
Murdayasya,
Uttamangam Shiraha
Uttamangam Shiraha,
Chakshushi
Chakshusi,
Chandrasya Suryascha Iti
Chandrasya Suryasya Iti,
Chandra Suryau
Chandra Suryau,
Yasya Iti
Yasya Iti,
Sarvatranushangaha
Sarvatra
Kartavyaha
Kartavyaha,
Asya Ityasya
Asya Ityasya,
Padasya
Padasya,
Vaksyamanasya
Vyakshyamanasya,
Yasyeti
Yasyeti,
Viparinamam Kritva
Viparinamam Kritva,
Dishasrotre
Vishashrotre,
Yasya
Yasya
Vagvivritaha
Vagvitaha,
Uddhatitaha
Uddhatitaha,
Prasiddhaha
Prasiddhaha,
Vedaha Yasya
Vedaha Yasya,
Vayupranaha Yasya
Vayupranaha Yasya,
Hridayam Antakaranam
Hridayam Antaranam,
Vishwam Samastam Jagat
Vishwam Jagat,
Asya
Asya
Isyetat sorry
Yasyetat,
Asya Yasya Ityetat
Asya Yasyetat,
Sarvam Hyantakarana
Sarvam Antakarana,
Vikarameva Jagate
Vikarameva Jagat,
Manasyeva
Manasyeva
Sushupte
Sushupte,
Pralaya Darshanat
Prayadarshanat,
Jagaritopi
Jagritopi,
ततः एव
ततः एव
अग्निविस्फुल्लिङ्गवत्
अग्निविस्फुलिङ्गवत्
विप्रतिष्ठानात्
विप्रतिष्ठानात्
यस्य च
यस्य च
पद्भ्यां जाता पृथिवी
पद्भ्यां जाता
पृथिवी
एषः
एषः
देवो विष्णुः
देवो विष्णुः
अनन्तः
अनन्तः
प्रथमशरीरी
प्रथमशरीरी
त्रैलोक्यदेहोपाधिः
त्रैलोक्यदेहोपाधिः
सर्वेषां
सर्वेषां
भूतानामन्तरात्मा
भूतानामन्तरात्मा
स हि
स हि
सर्वभूतेषु द्रष्टा
सर्वभूतेषु द्रष्टा
श्रोता
श्रोता
मन्ता
मन्ता
विज्ञाता
विज्ञाता
सर्वकारणात्मा
सर्वकारणात्मा
Guruji, in my book it is Sarva Karanatma.
Karanatma.
It is actually Sarva Karanatma. Karanatma is a better reading because it is the Sarva Karanam. It is the Jagat Karanam, which is the Atma. So Karanam is a better. Karanam Atma also, it is not a wrong reading because Sarva Karanam means what? All instruments, all the Antakaranam is Atma. But if we take that interpretation, we will be limiting it only to the Antakarana. But if we take Karanam Atma, then we will be expanding the scope of being Jagat Karanam. So Karanam Atma is a better reading. Okay. Right. So Agnihi Dhyulokaha. Bhashikara says Agnihi equal to Dhyulokaha. Dhyulokaha means the heavenly world, higher world. Now the question is, on what basis he is saying Agnihi is equal to heaven? Because if you look up in the dictionary, you will find the meaning of Agni is fire. Maximum it will say that it means the digestive fire, Jataragnihi in the stomach. But nowhere will we find the meaning as heaven. But then we know Vashyakara, he will not say anything without any basis. And he also does not want, to make us keep guessing. He says, don't worry, Agni, read Chandogya. You will know the reason for my interpretation. In Chandogya Mantra 5.4.1, there is a statement which says, Asau Vava Loko Gautamagnihi. It says, hey Gautama. Gautama is a student being addressed by the Acharya. Hey Gautama. Asau Lokaha Agnihi. And this is a statement which occurs in a story in the Chandogya Upanishad. And here, one Raja is giving Upadesha Panjagni Vidya Upadesha. He is giving teaching. What teaching? Panjagni Vidya teaching. What is this Panchagni Vidya? We will see in the next mantra. Okay, don't get curious. And Upadesha is given to a Shishya whose name is Gautama. So Gautama is Sambodhana. So there also the teacher is referring to the heaven and saying that, hey Gautama, asau lokaha agnihi. So from that, Bhashyakara takes that word agnihi for heaven. And because heaven, according to the Purusha visualization, topmost. So we can say heaven is the head of the Purusha. And of course, in Chandogya also it does not say heaven. It only say asau lokaha. Means that world is called Agnihi. So we have to understand, if we read the Chandogya Upanishad, we know the full context. So the very word asau is used means that means it is something not nearby, not in near proximity. Some world which is far away. Therefore, from the context, we understand that the world which is farthest is Agnihi. And the world farthest from Bhuloka is Swargaloka, heaven. And therefore, we derive the final meaning of Agnihi, of the head as Agnihi, equal to heaven. Vava means indeed, used for emphasis. Now, the question would be, why should we go to that meaning of the Chandogya when the primary regular meaning is available? Isn't it? Agni means fire. Simple meaning. And the general rule is that when the regular meaning is available, only that meaning should be taken. So why is it that Bhashyakara is giving up the regular meaning and chooses a rare irregular meaning from Chandogya, which first of all we have not studied. Even if we have studied, we may not remember it at all. So there must be some rationale for taking an irregular meaning. For that, the answer is that the mantra is actually imagining Virat in a human form and is describing various parts or limbs. It says Padbhyam Prithvi, Bhuloka is the feet of Virat. And therefore, the head of Virat should be somewhere higher, far away from the feet, isn't it? Then alone, Virat can incorporate the totality. And the next words in the mantra say, Chachushi Chandra Suryav. Sun and the moon are the eyes of Virat. And where are the eyes placed? Eyes are placed in the face and head is above the eyes. And mantra says Murda. Murda means head. Is Agni. Therefore, considering the whole context, we can say that here Agnihi cannot be taken to mean the local fire, because then Virat cannot cover totality. And therefore, even though the rule of interpretation says that where the simple regular meaning is available, we should take only that meaning, there are exceptions to the rule. As always, any rule will have some exceptions. And therefore, contextually, Agnihi should mean Swargaloka, which meaning alone will fit into the context. Swargaloka, being the head, is much higher than Bhuloka and is also above the sun and the moon. So this is the best meaning to be taken. So heaven is the head of Virat. So we can come to that conclusion safely. or this only we require acharyas, commentaries, sub-commentaries, everything we require. Otherwise, if we study on our own, we will end up with a total confusion. Anyway, the next word in the Moolam is Murdha. Bhashyakara Bhashyakara says Murdha means Yasya Uttamangam Shiraha. Uttama Angam. Uttama means what? Highest, exalted. Angam means limb. So Uttamangam means the highest, the topmost limb of the individual, or the topmost part of the individual. Now what is the topmost part? Head alone, isn't it? Therefore, Uttama can be taken literally and also figuratively. Literally, Uttama means what? The topmost, highest, referring to the spatial location. Or you can take figuratively also, wherein the word topmost means qualitatively superior. Like, he heads the organization, when we say, means what? He is in a qualitatively superior position. And the head is having the brain, controls the functions of the body. And therefore, we can take Uttama as qualitatively superior. Both literal meaning also, figurative meaning also will fit into the context. And Bhashyakara says Uttamangam is Shiraha. Shira means head. Whose head? Virat's head. Bhashyakara continues. The next word in the Moolam is Chakshushi. And the mantra says Chakshushi Chandra Suryau. Chakshushi means pair of eyes. And what are they compared to? Chandrascha Suryascha iti. And Bhashyakara perhaps feels that this needs no explanation. But he has to say something, because a Bhashyam, he is obliged to explain every word. And therefore, what he does, very intelligently, he says, okay, I will say something about Chandra Surya. He gives the grammatical derivation of the word. So Chandra Surya, he is giving this Samasa Vigraha. It is what is called a Dvandva Samasa. So the word Chakshushi is split as Chandrascha, Suryascha, Chandra Surya. So this Chandrascha, Suryascha, Chandra Surya is the Samasa Vigraha Vakya. Sun and moon are like the eyes of Virat. And now Bhashyakara probably realizes that there could be a question in the student's mind. Because in all these descriptions, the word Virat is not mentioned. Isn't it? So Bhashyakara indicates that we have to import from the third line of the mantra, the last word, which is Asya. So he wants to convert that word Asya into Yasya. Then that Yasya means Virat. So he says, Yasya iti sarvatra anushangaha kartavyaha. Asya ityasya padasya vakshamanasya yasyeti viparinama kritva. So the word Yasya means this person, of this person. And of this person means what? So we have to understand Virat. Therefore he says, Yasya iti sarvatra anushangaha. Sarvatra here means along with every word. It should be connected to every word. So, Yasya Agnir Murdha. This person's head is Agnihi. Yasya Chakshushi Chandra Suryav. This person's eyes are the sun and the moon, etc. Yasya Disha Srotre. This person's ears are the directions and so on. In that manner, we should understand. Anushangaha means should be added, should be connected. Kartavyaha means you have to do. It's a directive given by Bhashyakara. When you are reading the Bhashyam, understanding the mantra, make this grammatical addition. So naturally, the next question we will ask Bhashyakara. See, you go on doing all these additions, deletions and all, grammatically, everything. From where do you get this word yasya? For that, he gives the explanation. He says, asya ityasya padasya vakshamanasya yasya iti viparinamam kritva. So these are all, I should say, very technical grammar points. And therefore, if you do not understand it fully, not a problem. Okay. And since Bhashyakara has touched upon it, in fact, I come across this problem quite often when this teaching of Bhashyam is going on. Because some of the interpretations Bhashyakara takes is purely Sanskrit grammar based interpretation. And this will keep occurring again and again, throughout this Upanishad. And Bhashyakara expects that those people who read the Bhashyam, who study the Bhashyam, are very well versed in Sanskrit grammar. But then the reality is that not all of us are very well versed in Sanskrit grammar. So I get into this dilemma, whether to go touch up, whether to explain it or not. If I give it a go by and don't explain it, I feel I will be doing a disservice to Bhashyakara. And if I explain it fully in detail, I feel that I will be doing a disservice to many students who do not know Sanskrit grammar. And therefore, every time when I'm facing this challenge, what I do, I take a middle path. I just touch upon it, explain I would say not go deep into it. Very, very simply I explain and then move on. So all that we need to understand is, Bhashyakara said that we must add yasya to every description of the limb of Virat. So the question is, this word yasya is not there in the Moolam. And therefore, on what basis is Bhashyakara using this word yasya? And as I explained, yasya means of which person, of whose. So Bhashyakara says, I agree that yasya is not there in the Moolam. But the word asya is there. Asya means what? Of that one, of that person. And that person refers to Virat. So when we are describing the limbs of that person, we have to convert the word asya into yasya. Because every time instead of saying of that person, it is easier to say of this person, because we are describing Virat. And in visualizing Virat is not that something something distant we are visualizing. We are visualizing Virat, this entire cosmos which is right in front of us here and now. We are standing on the earth, standing on the feet of the Lord, as I said earlier. So therefore, he says it will be easier for you to understand if you replace asya with yasya and connect yasya to every word. Therefore, he says asya ityasya padasya. You have to take the word asya occurring in the mantra. And where is it occurring? He says Vakshamanasya. Future tense, which is going to be mentioned in the third line. Because now we are in the second line. 4 lines, second line we are. Vakshamanasya is future tense, as I said. So we have to take the word asya, which is going to be mentioned in the third line. Thereafter, what we should do? Yasya iti viparinama kritva. You convert the word asya into yasya. Now the question is again, why do you want to convert asya into yasya? Why can't we keep asya itself as it is? As I said, there is a grammatical significance for the conversion. There are 2 words in the mantra, asya and esha, both of which are correlative pronouns. But the mantra does not have a relative pronoun to go with the correlative pronouns. Because the rules of grammar, not only in Sanskrit, but also in English, when you use a correlative pronoun, you should also in the very same sentence have a relative pronoun. That is the rules. But here we have got in this mantra, because it's a Vedic mantra, they don't need to follow the grammar rules very strictly. 2 correlative pronouns are used, asya and yesha. Therefore, Bhashyakara says that from a grammar point of view, from a proper construction of the sentence point of view, you convert one correlative pronoun as a relative pronoun by converting asya into yasya, so that grammatically the sentence will make sense. So these are all fine points we have to understand when we study the Bhashya. So when the mantra says yesha of that person, the question will be which one or which person are you talking about? And then when we convert asya into yasya, it would then mean of this person. We are talking about this person. Yesha yasya murdha agnihi. Shirah agnihi. Yasya chakshushi chandra suryav. Whose eyes are the sun and the moon. So then grammatically we can, a beautiful sentence we can form. This is the reason Bhashyakara wants to convert one correlative pronoun into a relative pronoun. Because Bhashyakara of his own cannot introduce a new word in the Upanishad. And therefore, he uses a brilliant tactics. Convert one existing word and makes the sentence grammatically complete. This is the genius of Bhashyakara. Every word in the Upanishad, he observes very closely, understands the context in which the word is used, examines that if that word is to be interpreted, in what way it needs to be interpreted, so that even though the rishis who actually composed these Upanishads or heard these Upanishads and gave it to the world, They have recorded what they have heard, but for us, understanding a sentence grammatically is very important. Because we are all grammar students and we have to follow the grammar rules. And that's why Bhashyakara, many times goes out of the way and he brings all these elements for easy understanding, easy comprehension of what is said in the Upanishad. Okay, so that was something on grammar. If you have not understood, as I said, don't worry. But if you have understood a little bit also, you can appreciate how Bhashyakara approaches every word in the Upanishad. He will never say the Upanishad is wrong. He will come up with some tactic or some idea which will actually retain the Upanishad word also, and also will become easy for us to understand. Okay, so Bhashyakara continues. Disha srotre yasya वाग्विवृता है उद्घाटिता है प्रसिद्धा है वेदा है यस्य. So the next word in the moolam is disha. Disha hai srotre. Disha, as we have just now seen, mean 10 quarters of directions. It represents all directions. And all the directions are srotre, 2 years of Virat. And that's why, as I said, we can never talk a secret. You can keep a word secret from another human being. Nothing can be kept a secret from Vishwarupa Ishwara. Whatever you speak, even the topmost secret will be recorded in Bhagavan's computer's hard disk. And then he will deal with it accordingly. So Bhashyakara here also brings yasya, of which person, of whose. So the direction or the years of which person? The Virat. And then the next one is Vagvivrita hai Veda hai. Vag means the organ of speech or mouth of Virat. Vivrita hai Veda hai. Vivrita hai occurs in the moolam. And the immediate meaning is Uddhatita hai. Uddhatita hai means vast or widely spread. Because according to our tradition, the Veda Shabda is ever present in the atmosphere. We say that the rishis are, they heard the Veda mantras long ago and then gave it to the world. Does it mean that the Veda mantras were actually transmitted or broadcast for a particular period of time and the rishis heard that and gave it to the world and then the broadcasting stopped? No. The Veda mantras are still there in the atmosphere, in the cosmos, all the Veda mantras. They are still pervading the entire cosmos. They have not vanished. When we talk of Sanatana Dharma, this is what people don't understand at all. Such a manda buddhi people we have got in our country, all because of this Western education. Sanatana Dharma not only includes the behavior, it includes everything. The entire cosmology is a part of Sanatana Dharma. So the Veda mantras are still there. Omkara is still the Pranava mantra that is reverberating in the entire cosmos. Problem is we do not have the receivers. the inbuilt receivers to receive, to hear those mantras. Our mind, we need to have an exemplary chitta shuddhi, complete concentration, complete focus to hear those mantras which the rishis had. And therefore, uddhatita means vast, widely spread. Veda mantras are ever present in the atmosphere. When Bhagavan created the world, he has created the Veda mantras also. In fact, Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Yo Brahmanam vidatati purvam, yo vai vedamscha pranihoti tasmai. When Brahma created this world, he created the Vedas also. Did not create, he received the Vedas also, because ultimately creation of everything was a power delegated by Ishvara to Brahmaji. So as I said, even though the Veda mantras are in the atmosphere, we with our ordinary equipments cannot know, cannot hear. But the rishis in their tapas could capture the Veda mantras, and thereafter they gave it down to us human beings. And therefore, where are the Vedas? All over the space, the Veda mantras are there. Swami Paramatananda gives an example. He said they are like this radio or TV programs, which are broadcast, and they are there in the atmosphere always. But we do not have a proper receiving set, what we call the set-top box. We cannot access those programs. And as far as Vedas are concerned, we do not have the appropriate receiving set. But the rishis of the yore had such a receiving set. But there is one thing that we have to understand. I will mention that and probably finish. As even our chitta shuddhi becomes more and more, our antakaranam becomes more and more pure, we develop more and more vairagyam, viveka, etc. Without our knowing, without our realization, since we are getting nearer and nearer to Atma Jnanam, even though we do not hear the Veda mantras, we start getting the guidance from those Veda mantras. It starts happening automatically. We know adharmic thoughts. I would not say no. The entry of adharmic thoughts into our mind is highly becomes diluted and diluted and diluted. So with more and more chitta shuddhi, we get nearer and nearer to the Veda mantras which are there. And what are Veda mantras? Veda mantras are nothing but describing Ishvara only. So we get nearer and nearer in understanding what Ishvara is. So Veda is all pervading. In fact, Gita students can recall 3rd chapter. Krishna says, Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. And Bhashyakara in his Bhashyam on Gita says, here Brahma means Vedas. Sarvagatam Brahma means the Vedas are all pervading. So this is the first meaning of the word Vivrita hai, vast and all pervading. More we will see, next meaning we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadah.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
I
ಗುರುಜಿ.
don't realize when the time has passed.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದः.
Dhanyavadah.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದः ಮಹೋದಯ.
Guruji, this sequence, I am relating it to Purusha Suktam. Also, they says the
See, it's all Purusha Suktam is all only same body of literature, isn't it? Vedas, Purusha Suktam is also part of Vedas. So, but there the words used are all little different, that's all, right? Sahasra Shirisha Purusha, right? And what Bhashyakara does is he takes that in 11th chapter of Gita. So he says that thousands of heads are there for this Virat, for this Vishwarupa Ishwara, which means what? Every head of every human being, every animal is the head of Ishwara.
Yeah.
So that is how all pervade. When all pervading means it is not like a blanket or something, you know. Like you get up on an early winter morning, you find that there is a mist which has covered the entire trees and all. It is not that kind of pervading. All pervading means present in everything. So, Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumir Vishwatau Vritva Atyatishta Dashangulam. What Purusha Suktam says? What you are seeing is only a small part of the whole Ishvara, whole cosmos. So, all that, you know, we can say, then other descriptions are there, you know. Padbhyam, what is that? The controversial description is there, isn't it? Brahmana Mukhamasit. I'm forgetting the mantra. A long time I have not chanted Purusha Sukta. Brahmano Mukhamasit Bahu.
Uranya Kritaha.
Bahu. Then Padbhyam Shudro Ajayata, they say, no? So that becomes a controversy. So they say you are actually relating Shudras to the legs, the lowest part and all that, you know. Actually, the legs are, for us, who are standing on the legs are very near to the legs of Ishvara, the most visible and also, I would say, the most important part of Ishvara. Isn't it? That is why what we say, the lotus feet is what we say, isn't it? Guru and all, when we refer to, we say the lotus feet of Acharya, the lotus feet of God. So feet is a very, very reverential part of the body of the Lord. And which we are actually, which Purusha Suktam compares it to the Shudras. Means Shudras are supposed to be very, you know, a class of people, because according to Shastra, what are Shudras? They are people, residual people who do not fall under the three Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. And their main job is to serve the other three classes. Service. So, service to humanity they are doing, which is means what? Service to Bhagavan. So they are the most, Shudra should be the most revered people. They have no self-interest. All that, you know, when we study the Shastras only, we understand all these things. Otherwise, of course, for political reasons, people can take any interpretation they want. Thanks to let them do whatever they understand. For our understanding, that's why we don't see Shudras are to be, you know, put down upon or anything. They are as important as Brahmanas. Their profession is different, that's all.
Yeah, I think that Varnashram, they described each profession very well.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no difference between any of
No
these
difference.
Shastras.
No difference at all. That's it. Anyhow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Hario. Yes, Lataji.
Namaste, Pranam.
Namaste, Pranam.
The very thought-provoking session, as well as at the same time, it also answered and cleared some of the very subtle questions the mind has always right from the beginning of the or from a long time. Like when elders used to say, when you're little, always say good, always think good, and always do good, because God can see, hear, and everything. And there's also this. I think there are any number of stories in every Purana, every language, every every sect of India. That there's a little story from Kanakadasa, where his guru gives a banana to all his each one of his shishyas, and tells them, go and eat it, have it in a place where nobody is seeing you. And then Kanakadasa is the only one who comes back with the banana and says that I could not eat because everyone was there looking at me, and then I could not eat and all that. And also another time his guru asks everyone, will you go to heaven? Do you think you will go to heaven? Do you think you will go to heaven? And everyone says no. And then Kanakadasa says, that's in Kannada, but when it translates, Nanu hodare hogabahudu, means if I go if I may go. I'll go if the gist of the answer is, I will go if I goes.
Yeah.
That's in
I
Kannada.
will
It's
go if I goes. Yeah.
yeah, if I goes, so that way.
Yeah.
That's again the session needs to be listened to again and again, Guruji. This one very small doubt about the Sanskrit thing, the padbyam, pa, ada, bha, and dhyam. Padbyam, where does it come as? Because pado is there, padabhyam, padehi, padebhyah, all that is. How come this ada, bha is there, Guruji?
No, it's again Padbyam is it's a Vedic usage.
What is the root word here, Guruji?
Root word is Pad only.
Pad only. Acha. Where
Pad
did the
only is
ada,
the
bha
root
come
word.
from?
Yeah. Padabhyam is there. Padbyam is also there.
Acha.
Yeah. Padbyam is plural.
Mm-hmm.
Padau is
Two.
dual case. Right.
Dual, yeah.
Padbyam is plural.
Padabhyam, padaihi, padabhyam,
Padabhyam is
padebhyah.
also plural.
Uh-huh.
Because Padbyam will be, I will have to recollect the
Guruji,
pronunciation.
the simple akaranta pullinga shabdavat, that is
Yeah. I think the word will be Pada will be the
padabhyam, padebhyah.
Padaho, Padaho, Pada hai. Akaranta pullinga. Pada is the the verb.
Padah, padau, padaha, padam, padau, padan, padena,
Padena
padabhyam,
padabhyam
padaihi.
padaihi. Padaha padabhyam padebhyah.
Padebhyah. So how come the bha, ada bha is here before the is what I was wondering.
That's what I'm saying. Padbhyam is used in the Upanishads. Purusha Suktam also is Padbhyam is used.
Achha.
It's a Vedic usage.
Vedic usage, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I will have to refer to this ashtadhyayi.com. Let me check it up, and next class I may be able to clarify whether there is any other derivation of as Padbhyam, right? But I thought actually Padbhyam I have come across only in the Upanishads, in Purusha Suktam. Padbhyam Shudro Ajayata, there also Padbhyam is used, right? So that is used in it's a Vedic usage. Let me check and I'll get back to you. Because grammar and a lot of things I have myself forgotten, honestly. So I will let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah.
Yes, good. Thank you very much.
Okay, Hari Om. Thank you. So any other question? No hands seems to be going up, so we can close the session. Continue next week. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you.